friends, so glad you're here today. Who wants a little rundown of some of the best complexion products? I'm talking also the lowest cost complexion products. By that I mean primer, foundation, concealer, powder. Those first steps that really set the tone for how your face is going to look makeup-wise that day. I'm sorting out the 10 most effective, least expensive products in that realm. I was just looking through my stuff yesterday and I thought occasionally you need a video that really spells it out, because not everybody has been watching all along. Not everybody has these little tidbits, things that I've said, recommendations I've given all filed away in their heads. So let's make it easy and let's give a one-stop shop kind of video on complexion, but keep it really affordable. I see so many people in my comments section who say, yeah, high-end makeup's nice, but I'm pretty much only gonna buy drugstore. And there are loads of good options. So I'm starting this with just my skincare on so I can actually show as many things as possible. So of the 10 products, the first thing is a primer. And this I feel is really the best all-around primer, okay? It's going to add a little moisture to the skin. It's going to really enhance your staying power and just be an effective base for whatever you want to put on top. I've used this for so long. I've seen it work alongside so many different either tinted moisturizers, light to medium foundations, full coverage foundations. It's a friend to all, okay? It's the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer with the 12-hour makeup grip. So Hard Candy really has a wide range of different primers to choose from. This is no doubt my favorite. Think of the e.l.f. primer that's so popular, the gripping primer or the Milk Hydro Grip, all that stuff. This has that greenish tinge to it, but here's the thing, it spreads with ease. They took the real stickiness out of it. It still gives you moisture, and I feel like it kind of helps hang on to foundations really, really well, but it's just easy to spread. It's not annoying. You don't come away thinking, ugh. Why should the first step of your makeup feel that way? I mean, and I use the e.l.f. from time to time, and I do think like, wow, this does work. This is an effective product, but let's have that effectiveness, but just make it something that's not a pain to put on. So that's where this comes in. Really fair price with pretty much all of Hard Candy. So definitely want to shout that one out. Another product that I would put under the primer umbrella, but it's a completely different kind of primer, is this Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. This is one of those things that I'm about out of. I just got a little bit down here I should repurchase. I have mine in the shade Light. Here's the actual list of what they say this product can do. Primer, concealer, highlighter, BB cream. They call it 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. For me, this is primarily a priming step. And I want you to think of all the glowy primers you can imagine, from the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter to the e.l.f. that's a lot like that. We've got the Lumi Glotions, we've got everything, and there are a lot of those that I do enjoy. But the difference here, this has a thinness to it that I think is very advantageous as a primer. Seriously, when this is worked into the look, staying power turns out pretty good, but also you get this really natural luminosity to it. I can use it on top of the other primer. This is a different type of thing. See the beigey tracks that this is leaving? So the way I'd explain this is it's like a hybrid highlight, subtle highlight mixed with just a little foundation. So that really helps it work right into your skin tone. It gives you that glowy appearance, but it's not over the top glow. And again, the consistency, very, very thin, and not thin and greasy, just thin and light. It's definitely the most lightweight product of this kind. And it's just one of those tried and true things. Like I said about this, I found this to work so well alongside so many foundations, and this does too. And yeah, sure, use them both if you want to. Hard Candy's obviously colorless. This one gives some glow, but look at the surface of the skin. Glowing, but not over the top, and the weight on the skin, again, super duper thin. So there's 1 and 2. Moving into a base product, here I'm really gonna have to just choose one. Tinted moisturizer, gotta be Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. What a bang for your buck. This stuff is so inexpensive and works so well. It's got hyaluronic acid, it's got squalane, it's oil free. It says sheer to medium coverage, which I think is a pretty accurate claim there, and I wear the shade Light. So just a little basic squeeze tube. You're gonna love this stuff. If you haven't tried it yet and your goal is just lightweight foundation, that's what this feels like. Does it add a little moisture? Yeah. Would I wear it as a standalone and abandon my skincare routine because this seems like it might be hydrating? No. I would still do all my normal skincare, but think of this as lightweight foundation. It always makes the skin look good. It's one of those lightweight products that truly does something. I mean, we all love to see it, right? We don't put on makeup just to sit here and notice nothing happening. We want to see something. We want a result. We want to, oh, this gives you the, oh, okay? So that's why I'm mentioning it here. And I know there are so many people who want to keep it light, who don't want heavy things settling into fine lines, whatever. Really good lightweight product. Be aware it does not contain SPF. So again, we're using all our normal skincare underneath, but we're noting that this gives a little added hydration, and that sheer to medium coverage, kind of depending on the way you choose to blend it out, the amount you want to put on, experiment, play, but this is a solid product. I hope they never get rid of it. Stepping up the coverage from there a little bit. 2 more options, okay? So I've now named 3 things out of my 10, and we're moving on to number 4. I have to mention the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. Here's yet another one. I'm almost out of this Maybelline. I'm almost out of this too. I wear it in 2-3 Light. This has 1% pure hyaluronic acid. I have added the pump. This comes with a dropper, and we don't love the dropper. It's okay. It got me through a lot of time, but the pump helps you be consistent. The pump helps you know application to application, like, okay, I use a full pump of this and that's what works for me, or I use a half pump or whatever. Glass bottle honestly feels pretty darn luxurious for drugstore makeup. A lot of times I have paired these two. I know I have done at least a couple of videos where I talked about the fact that the pairing of these two is gold. But the thing to know about this, the name Hyaluronic Tinted Serum, it's not as light as you think it is. It's not as thin as you think it is. It's not as non-existent as you might imagine. It really is a medium coverage foundation to me, and it's not too sticky, not too dewy. Does it offer glow to the skin? A little bit, but in a really manageable, nice way. You know, I don't like to be too glowy, okay? I like to really be in control of that glow. I don't necessarily want a super duper glowy foundation just running away with things, okay? It's truly not too much, but it's going to be a little more coverage than your Wet n Wild. You know how they said sheer to medium? This can be very thinned out. This can be very lightly applied. This, I feel like I get a consistent result every time, and it's a good medium coverage with a gentle luminosity, just so gentle, not too much. Surprisingly good staying power, just looks amazing on the skin. It's another one of those you see a result from it products. Okay, it's effective. That's why it's in this video. And honestly, pushing the envelope on the expensive side. These two are probably the more pricey things in this video. But the third all-over coverage foundation-y type product I want to recommend, and it was tight for this because I was thinking, okay, now something for the people who really want that serious coverage, who really want to look super even and flawless, also care about staying power. I would have to say Rimmel Lasting Finish. I got reacquainted with this foundation earlier this year. It is amazing. The staying power here is so solid. The look on the skin is so beautiful. I'm wearing the shade Soft Beige just like I did way back in the day. So this was sold out of a squeeze tube way back when I was still doing videos in the apartment, okay? It was a great product then. It was one of the faves. And then it kind of dropped off. They did some different varieties of it. Time passes. I'm not really using Rimmel at all. And then I fall into Rimmel again this year. And it's like, oh, wow. And I didn't see this at Walmart, okay? So if you're shopping for Rimmel at Walmart and you think that's all there is, please go to Walgreens because that's where you will find more things. And this is where it's at. It also contains SPF 20. They claim a 25-hour wear, which honestly, I've never personally tested it on my skin that long, but I wouldn't doubt it, okay? It comes with a pump. The packaging is great. What was close to this, what really made me pause, was the CoverGirl Outlast foundation, also with the red cap. That also has tremendous staying power. This manages to be a little lighter than that though. And I know that's kind of a priority to people to feel on the skin. And another close one was the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte for me. I love that stuff. In a staying power contest, I think this would probably beat it, but the staying power on that's still really good as well. So just wanted to shout those out because they're also great options. But this is the one I'm going to apply today. And I don't believe I've ever put it on top of this particular thing here, this Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1. So we're just going to do that today, get ourselves out a little pump. Actually, I don't think I even use a full pump of this. I just use close to a full pump. And we'll patch it around. But if we're talking most inexpensive, like best value, that's another reason kind of why I steered toward the Rimmel, because Rimmel is so affordable. So I'm just taking my e.l.f. Duo brush here, spreading it around. I'm thinking it's looking really nice on top of that more glowy primer. That's really nice. But just as is, let's say you just put this foundation on with no primer. I would kind of call it natural finish. It doesn't look ultra matte. It doesn't look like super duper flat, if you know what I mean. And if we're talking feedback from viewers that I've seen, like just positive feedback about something I've recommended, this is off the charts. So many of you have tried this and love this. How easy was that to blend in? With a brush, or you can use a sponge. Really pretty coverage. I can see some of the glowy primer kind of showing through. I'm liking that look, but I'm not feeling super sticky all over my skin. Thinking about the under eyes, correcting, brightening, I've got one concealer to recommend and one corrector. This is the top corrector, I think. It's the e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener. This is in the shade Fair. I should probably link below to a video where I really closely compared this to the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, Becca in Smashbox now it is. That's a really amazing product. This is no doubt as close as it gets. You want to push down into the cream when you get it. That creamifies this product, just so you know. Another one that was up there for me was the little stick from NYX, the Pro Fix stick in the pinky shade. It gives a little extra moisture, which if you're going to layer up a couple of concealers, you don't want to be low on moisture. So see how I'm just dabbing this in with my finger? I've not blended it yet. I'm just placing it where I want it to be. Outsides of the eye, inner little cavern of the eye. If you want to take it down lower, if it's been one of those nights, you know, just bring it down here. And then we can blend with a brush or a sponge. Keep in mind, anytime you pull in a sponge, you are going to get the more natural take on the product you've just put on your skin, because that dampened sponge is just gonna break it down ever so slightly, and sometimes that's great. Sometimes that's what you want. Brush is gonna be more of your effort to maintain coverage, but I can't believe this is like a $6 product, and look at how it absolutely does away with the darkness. And I would recommend taking a finger after you've blended and do a little pressing. Just do a little pat over. And what you're doing there is ensuring that any excess gets picked up off the skin. And this is just the opposite end of the e.l.f. Duo brush, which if there was a brush in this conversation, this whole video, this would be it for sure. You saw me blend in the Maybelline with it. You saw me blend in the foundation. Now we're doing concealer with it. Highly recommend this brush, e.l.f. Duo complexion brush. Patting, patting, and now press, press, press. We're not swiping back and forth. We're not moving the application around. We're just patting over that little area, which includes your under eye crease that sometimes wants to eat product. Am I right? Brightened. So brightened. Okay, now we got to talk general concealer. For me, there is one MVP in this conversation from the drugstore, and it is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Okay, this is it. I love this stuff so much. Also up there is a really special product from NYX, the Bear With Me Concealer Serum. I know a lot of people like that. That's a very good product. It's going to be pricier than this, like double the price. What that has that this doesn't have is thinness. But I feel like it's all in the application. So if you just make sure your dot is tiny with this and take care to blend it out, you kind of get to the same place, okay? Really high coverage, not over dried skin, just a really good look. Light peach is my shade in this. I have used up, I think, probably 2 tubes of this over time. And now that I've brightened and stuff, it's just going to be a dot right there. Right there. If I hadn't done the brightening step, I would maybe do a couple dots and make sure one of them is up in that zone. But maybe we'll go out here again. We'll think about if any redness exists around the nose. We can do some little bits around here. Gosh, I'm keeping so light with it. It's not like this is super thick and heavy. I don't want you to think that about it, but it's just a little richer than the NYX. So I'm taking small end, spreading that under eye dot around, reach up here with this one, let that come up and lift, and then switch to your full side and nothing swiping. We're not doing a big old buff here, we're just patting. Coverage maintenance. I mean, we are just keeping the coverage in play when we do it this way, okay? Take your small dot, you blend it, you don't let your brush eat up that small dot, move it around, make it take up space, and then bop over it with this. I didn't design the brush, but I wish I did. Honestly, It Cosmetics designed the brush and e.l.f. copied it, but they did a really good job. It's very affordable, so I'm not complaining. Bring it on in, friends. I mean, this complexion is even. We're brightened where we want to be brightened. We've given added coverage where we want the extra coverage. Looking like the surface of real skin, is it not? Yeah, I like that. I like that so much. 3 things left, all are powders, different types of powders. I'm not saying everyone needs all 3, but I want to mention something for everyone, if that makes sense. Under eye setting is going to be important at this point. We have put 2 relatively juicy things on the under eye area. Setting, in my opinion, is going to help it wear well all day. I'm 40 years old. My skin is still in pretty good shape. I've never had Botox. I've never had anything done. And you might think, stop now, Em, don't powder that skin. Don't put powder on it. But I gotta say, I value staying power a lot, and I will powder the under eye area, and I know it's gonna last well all day. Maybelline Fit Me. Maybelline Fit Me loose powder comes in a variety of shades. I also really like the Wet n Wild Photo Focus translucent powder. Does not come in a wide variety of shades though. Here you can really get what you want to have, and this is the shade Fair for me. It's the most brightening powder up on this under eye area, and that is including high end in my book, except maybe the lavender one from Fenty. I think this is the most brightening. So I'm taking this little e.l.f. Pinky Puff is what it's called. They made little cute small puffs. I'm getting way into the inner corner. I'm pulling it out as well. It's giving added brightness to that zone, and then I care about my T-zone too. I'm going to press it in around the T-zone. And if you feel like, oh, that little puff, you know, I see where it laid down something extra, Em, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to come in a second and dust it away, / blend it in. I'm pushing it around the nostrils. I am wanting to make sure that this powder gets in contact with the product applied to that area, and as the day rolls on, this hot, early August day, it's going to last. Hey, I'm actually shooting this on my anniversary, August 5th. Happy anniversary, bub. Not that he watches these, but anyways. I'm taking my Morphe under eye bullet brush, and we just let that blend on in. / dust away. It does what it will. We still have some radiance happening on the skin. We didn't do away with all that, but in a key area, we're pretty matte and perfected. That was number 8. So number 9, we now have a pressed powder option. Rimmel Stay Matte. Rimmel Stay Matte is a classic. It's been around for a long time. I've got the shade Creamy Natural. It's the most brightening. So if you wanted to, instead of doing what I just did there, take just a pressed powder, maybe a little brush, or you could use a puff too. Just lightly set the under eye, set the T-zone. Not fool with loose powder. Maybe you say, Em, why do you deal with loose powder? It's just more fussy. Yeah, but it's probably a little more perfecting, okay? But this product, what's special about Rimmel Stay Matte to me is that it is the powder that stays in its lane. It's not trying to be powder foundation. It's just straight up powder. It feels soft enough to the touch, but you're not picking up like this rich, creamy amount of powder. It's gonna stay light. When you put a brush into this to apply, it's very firm, okay? Very firmly pressed. You're not gonna pick up too much. So therefore, you can effectively set and mattify, whether that's just certain areas or all over the face. You can do it, it's gonna do its job without being too thick and too much on your skin. So I really enjoy that product. I've enjoyed it over the years. Pair it in with other Rimmel products or anything else, and you're really gonna enjoy the end result. And then the last thing I'm recommending in this video is something for my friends who enjoy a powder foundation, who like the thought of maybe using something like this and then boosting up the coverage to their liking with a powder foundation, or people who say, I'm willing to pace myself in, and at the point you're at the end of this look, I want that X factor, really good staying power. Here's where the Super Stay powder comes in. This is their hybrid powder foundation. I wear 128. This is really soft, whereas this, I said, was very firmly pressed, like a traditional, just plain old pressed powder. This one feels creamy, okay? You pick up a lot when you touch it. You can pick up a lot on a brush if you put your brush in. That's why I never press hard. I just roll it in, tap off excess, and this becomes a little secret weapon at the end of complexion stuff for staying power. Notice how I'm not even worrying about the under eye. Under eye has been taken care of, but I can use a little bit of it down here and cover the cheek and the rest of the forehead, and now this will be the thing that really makes me feel even and basically have the same looking makeup at day's end. It's a really good product, but you have to use it lightly. I'm not recommending putting on a full-ish coverage foundation and then using this to its fullest extent on top. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you want to pair this with a pretty good coverage foundation and just use it as a staying power helper, if you do it lightly, it will work out. There are those who may just say, I'm going to prime, or I'm just going to glowy prime, and then this is my coverage. You know, it can work well in that capacity too. But that pretty much sums up my 10 most effective, least expensive drugstore complexion products. They all have a really distinct function. They all do what they say they're going to do. I think they're really true to their claims. Hopefully it feels like for anyone watching, like there was kind of something for everyone in this video. And feel free to share in the comments section if you've had certain experiences with the products I've mentioned, or you would really like to throw in a substitution here or there for a certain skin type or a certain skin challenge you're dealing with. Share that with us in the comments section. This can be a really great resource for people. This is just one person's slew of recommendations. All of these products have been used a lot by me. I'm highly familiar with these things. This isn't just, oh, I just got this in yesterday and I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. It's not that type of deal, okay? I have a bond. I have a relationship with these products. So thank you for watching. And I feel like I shouldn't exit the video without showing you what the actual finished face looks like. So maybe I'll go ahead and do that and I'll come back and say bye. Alrighty guys, here's the way everything came together on the face. Other things I put on, I used this little trifecta from Wet n Wild I'm loving lately. My Wet Shady Beaches bronzer, followed by this Wet n Wild blush, this shade called Pinch Me Pink. I've never given this enough love, really, but this is awesome. I love this kind of cool pink, little bit of shimmer, and then Precious Petals. Also from Wet n Wild, that's the highlight on top. That's restoring a little bit of that glow that may have been knocked down a little bit when we put on the powders. On my eyes, I'm wearing a Sydney Grace palette. This is Southern Spring. I've been wanting to work in those olive greens, so that's exactly what we did today, and I love the way it turned out. I used my Tartelette tubing mascara on top and bottom. No real eyeliner today. I just used a smoky shadow stick on the lower lash line. This is Maybelline Color Tattoo in I Am Determined. It's one of their matte sticks. It's just a really soft brown. And then on the lips, I am wearing this Cocoa Bold lipstick from Too Faced. The shade is Hot Chocolate, and it's a really pretty classic nude, maybe just a little bit caramely. And then I further defined the lips with Hard Candy Instapout in the shade Boyfriend. That's their brownish lip liner. I used it pretty softly and then took Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Topaz over the top of that. So that rounds out the look. I hope this was an informative video for you guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you all again very soon. I love you. Bye.